Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, comrades and friends, we have some breaking news for you today. Ghislaine Maxwell reportedly told the Department of Justice that she never witnessed now President Donald Trump engage in any concerning behavior in her presence. Rather interesting, wouldn't you say? It comes as a shock to, I think, well, let's see, every single person who's been following this case, right? Especially given recent circumstances with her transferring out of the prison here. So let's talk about this a little bit here. What's going on? Well, the claim was made during a 9-hour, 2-day interview with Deputy Attorney General Tom Blanche, who notably had previously served as Trump's personal defense attorney in his New York criminal trial. The interview conducted in July at Maxwell's new low-security federal prison in Texas is now at the center of that controversy, and not just for what she said, but who asked the questions. Right? Maxwell's remarks come at a time when the Justice Department is now under intense scrutiny over how it is handling the sprawling network of names connected to the late Jeffrey Epstein. Over the course of the interviews, Maxwell reportedly answered questions about roughly 100 different individuals, right, without invoking any privilege or refusing to respond. But it was her assertion that Trump never behaved inappropriately around her that has stolen headlines, especially given the years of speculation and photographic evidence that you can see on screen here showing Trump, Maxwell, and Epstein appearing together in events in Palm Beach and Manhattan in the 90s, as well as the early 2000s. Right? To some her statement's going to sound like simple denial here, but to others it's something more calculated. Right, critics of Trump's administration, and particularly of Todd Blanche's dual role as both a former Trump attorney and now DOJ official, are going to be raising some alarms here. The very fact that Blanche is now acting in a government capacity was the one conducting the interview has sparked accusations of conflict of interest. Right, and we have a quote here from one formal federal prosecutor telling the Daily Beast here that, quote, "This is the fox guarding the hen house," referencing Blanche's close ties to the former president. Right. So the implication is that Maxwell may have delivered exactly the line that the Trump administration wanted to hear in exchange for some softer treatment, or even the hope of a future pardon, which everybody has been saying is what's going to be going on here. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm bringing you the news here, but we can all see it. Right? That's sort of what is leading to here. And in fact, the idea doesn't really seem that far-fetched given the fact that Maxwell's recent transfer to a minimum security facility in Texas, which has been dubbed by critics as Club Fed, it's now a sharp downgrade from the high security conditions she previously endured. While such transfers can happen for a variety of bureaucratic reasons, the timing, coinciding almost exactly with the DOJ testimony, has fueled speculation that her cooperation is being rewarded behind closed doors. Rather interesting, ladies and gentlemen, wouldn't you say? Now, I'm going to tell you this, right? So that's my little script there for you guys. We can go off script now. But wouldn't you say it's rather interesting here, and that like everybody always claims they have no knowledge of her transferring, and it can happen for a number of reasons. Maybe it was coincidence, but what I am saying is when this whole case blows up, right, and then you can see all different types of crazy things going on here. For example, here I saw earlier today somebody made this connection, and like little things that you would just take for granted, it just makes you suspicious of for the fact that they're hiding things. And like, look, at the end of the day here, even if Trump himself was not involved in any of these bad things, it almost seems incredibly likely that he'd be covering up for something. Now, allegedly, right? Obviously, of course, right? But what I am saying here is something ain't adding up here, right? Everything seems very, very suspicious to me, and I think to millions of other Americans. But I saw a post here today on Twitter, and I was like, normally I would just scroll right by it here, but I was looking at it today, and it was like, Trump wanted 14, 15 to 16-year-olds to now be prosecuted as adults, right? Because I think he was critiquing gang violence in whatever state or whatever city or wherever. And I was like, man, yeah, I can understand that, right? I mean, you have some people who probably don't deserve to be back in society if they're doing absolutely insane things when they know better. Believe me, a lot of them know better, right? By that age, right? Like, oh, you don't know how to, you don't know not to kill someone when you're 16. Give me a break, right? Yes, that things like that are bad, right? Or robbing someone, or or attacking someone. Like you understand it. You know what I'm saying? Now you might not necessarily understand the ramifications of your actions to the full scope, of course. But what I am saying here is you kind of understand the difference between right and wrong there. And anyway, somebody brought up the point. They're like, it's rather convenient, isn't it, that when all these allegations are floating around, he decides that, oh, you know what? Maybe we should try to look at these people as adults. And I was like, this dude is not going to catch a break here, right? I mean, until we get these client lists, which they mysteriously lost, and the missing minute, and like this and that, like there's so many like little things here that they don't add up. They don't add up, ladies and gentlemen. And it's a horrible situation. But with that said, I'm curious to see what you guys have to say here in the comments here. I mean, I could rant all day about this. Something ain't adding up to me here. And I wish we could get to the bottom of it, but who even knows at this point, right? The public is going to be kept in the dark here. And if we ever are, shown the light, obviously we can make our assumptions here and we can, look at our allegations and the like and make some ourselves. But I don't even know if we would ever be shown the light at this point, right? I mean, at what point do you say, all right, well, they could just, use AI, right, to, create some deep fake, right, to sort of make it look like whatever they want it to look like, for that matter. And plus, they'll just lie to us and use their whole, manufactured consent with the people. So, I don't know. It's rather depressing here. But what I will tell you, ladies and gentlemen, is we're almost at 300 subscribers. Woo! 300 subscribers. So, thank you very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Try to hit that subscribe button here. Hit that like. Comment down below. It helps out the algorithm. And so, I can't thank you enough. And I want to appreciate your time here. With that said, always make up your own mind, do your own research, and we'll see you in the future.